Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Huge Winer TV. I am your host, the Huge Winer. Today I'm very excited to taste a couple of wines and talk about different vineyards and different terroirs with you. As you can see, probably, these are two wines from the same producer, Joseph Phelps in Sonoma County. Phelps is obviously a very well-known, very well-regarded producer in Napa Valley. These are Sonoma Chardonnays. One from the Freestone Vineyard, one from the Pastorale Vineyard. Other than that, they're very similar in many ways. One big difference, other than the terroir that we'll talk about, is the oak. We'll get to that in a second. So this one is $60 from the winery. This one is $80 from the winery, US of course. The big difference here is both are pressed whole cluster to the barrel and stirred as necessary during malolactic fermentation. The difference is the quality of the oak. This one here is aged 13 months and 35% new oak, 65% 2 to 3 year old French oak pumpkins. So this one here is aged 13 months and 70% new French oak, 30% used once French oak puncheons. For those of you that are not that familiar with oak and what it does to a wine, well, there are many different things it can do to a wine, and depending on what kind of oak it is, where it comes from. Is it Slovenian oak? Is it American oak? French oak? New French oak generally is responsible for a lot of the buttery, toasty oak notes you might get in a wine. And as you use a barrel over and over and over, it's going to impart less flavor. It's going to lose some of its toast, and it's going to be eventually it'll get to be a neutral. It won't impart any flavor. So this one, as I said, 35% of it's new French oak. That's going to impart some toasty flavors. And then the other 65%, 2 to 3 year old puncheons. So that's going to have much less intense flavors in a 2 or 3 year old barrel. This one here, 70% new and 30% used only once. So without even having smelled or tasted these wines, I'm going to tell you that I would fully expect this one here to be more intense, more aromatic in terms of oak, in terms of maybe the butterscotch flavors, some of the nutty flavors you might get. And this one may be a little more feminine, a little more floral, could be a little more fruity. But we'll find out, shall we? So I've just poured myself a glass 15 minutes or so ago. Let's find out. This is the Freestone. This is the $60 one that's in I'll call it the lesser oak. It's not lesser, it's still fantastic oak, but let's just call it that for the sake of argument. So there's definitely still some buttery qualities there, there's no question about it. But so there's definitely some intense buttery notes still in this one. First thing I get right off the bat is a little, I'd say a lemon peel, like a Meyer lemon peel. A little bit of grapefruit, a little white grapefruit, I think. Chalk, lemongrass, I think. And it's floral. There's definitely some white flowers on the aroma on this. Honeysuckle. And maybe like an orange blossom. Like there's some orange, like some yeah, I think there's an orange blossom as well. So let's see what it tastes like. It's a lovely wine, but definitely relies more on the fruit than on the oak for flavor. Right off the bat, I instantly get like a whole lot of stone fruit, apricot. Just savory quality too, almost like a little bit of dried herbs. Pineapple, honey. There's a salinity, a salty quality on the finish too. A little bit of lime zest. A little bit of apple. Okay, so that is the Freestone. So let's try this one here. This is the Pastorale, 70% new French oak. I would expect this to be more buttery. Let's see. Well, it's different. I wouldn't necessarily say it's more buttery in the nose. On the palate, not demonstrably so. On the nose, it's a lot of pear right off the bat. Ripe pear, like a eat me now or I'm gonna spoil type of pear. It's like a lemongrass, peach, like a white peach on the nose. Ginger. Yeah, like fresh cut ginger. You just grated some ginger. Pardon me. More minerality to this one than the other one as well. Honeydew melon. So it starts out right at the tip of your tongue. It starts out with a little bit of toffee, hazelnut, and then you get down to the mid palate. That kind of dissipates a bit, leaving you with some Meyer lemon, lime, I'd say. Yeah, citrus comes at the end. A little bit of tropical fruit, maybe some guava. Yeah. Wow. So, as we drink these over the next few hours, I'll see if it becomes more pronounced. Right off the bat, though, there's no question they're a very different wine. I don't get quite as much punch in the face oak from this one as I thought I might. I think the first time that Tracy and I ever noticed how different vineyards could be was, I want to say, a decade or so ago. We were up at Cedar Creek in Oliver, in Kelowna, and they had a dinner called Starry Nights, and it was in October, and we went up there, and I remember it was really cold. They had this beautiful layout, food and wine pairings of a lot of their wines, and I believe it was the first year that they had separated. They had a big Pinot Noir that they had every year, the Platinum Pinot Noir, and they had taken grapes from the different vineyards and combined them together to make this Pinot Noir. And at some point they decided to separate them, and it was called. They had Block 2 and Block 4, and I don't remember the year. 8, 9, 10, something like that. Anyway, but they're both Pinot Noir, they're both from the same producer, they're both made in mostly the same style, but they came from vineyards that were 100 yards apart. A football field, that's all. And you could, you walk over the hill, you could see it, that's Block 2, that's Block 4. They weren't that far away. And the wines couldn't have been more different. I remember the Block 2 wine was pretty and feminine and violets and bright red cherry, and it was really a beautiful wine. Almost reminded me of a very Burgundian style, but very feminine. Block 4 was a beast. It was earthy and masculine, and it punched you in the face, and then it kicked you in the nether regions. It was a good wine at the time, but there was no question, the drink right then, the Block 2 was much better. As they aged, and we had a few bottles of each in the cellar, they're gone now, but as they aged, they switched. The earthy one got there. It took a few years, but it became a beautiful wine. But that was probably the first time that it was so obvious the difference that a vineyard, this vineyard here, that vineyard there, they're 100 yards apart, and it made an incredible difference in the wine. And here, these vineyards are both in Sonoma Coast. They're not that far away from each other. The Freestone Vineyard is actually I think the town is called Freestone. That was when Phelps moved into Sonoma County. That was the first vineyard that was there. They subsequently planted the Pastorelli Vineyard and also another vineyard called Quarter Moon. There's 3 of them up there that they own and make. They all make. I don't know if it's Quarter Moon Chardonnay. Quarter Moon Pinot Noir for sure. And these vineyards also both have Pinot Noir. So they're just lovely wines. Phelps does a really good job. And the difference, and I had a map, and I should have put it up there and shown you. The difference in these 2 wines is striking. Now, it's not quite as striking as I thought it was going to be, and it might be in an hour as they open a little bit. But realistically, the difference here, as I said, is the vineyard and the oak. So even in how long we've been talking, 10 minutes? This one's getting more buttery, like another fresh baked bread on there. Oh, let's see what this one's doing here. So yeah, this is getting more on the nose. This one's gone to bread, to brioche, baked bread. This is going to baking spices. This is now becoming like almost like a coffee cake. Well, not a coffee cake. It's not coffee, but almost like a cinnamon roll, maybe. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what these both get like in an hour or so when they've been open for a little while. But both fantastic wines. And if you haven't ever had Joseph Phelps wines, I don't know how easy it would be to get these 2 here. We were members of the wine club for quite a few years until the borders closed and we had to quit all our U.S. wine clubs. So these wines were easy for us to get. We had to drive across. They don't ship to Canada, of course, but we had to drive across the border and bring them across, pay duty and all that. That was fun. But you can get Joseph Phelps wine here. They do make, Joseph Phelps Cab Sauv is very common, probably about $120 a bottle. And I'm sure you can find their Chardonnays and their Pinot Noirs if you look hard enough. You won't find them in BC liquor stores, but I'm sure some private liquor stores sell these, and all across Canada, I'm sure. And those of you watching in the States, well, not going to have any trouble finding them, are you? And they're all delicious. I don't think I've ever had a bad Joseph Phelps wine. They even used to make an ice wine. Not really an ice wine. It doesn't get cold enough for the grapes to freeze there, but they made it in that style. I think they actually froze the grapes. Well, of course they did. They froze the grapes. They picked them and froze them, and it was fine. It was not as good as ice wine we get here, of course. But they also apparently make it a sparkling wine now, and of course they have the big boy is called Insignia. One of my absolute, I believe, one of the only 2 wines I've ever given 99 points to on my blog, table wines that is. The 2016, I think, Insignia that we actually had almost a year ago. We were down in Florida for my birthday, about almost exactly 12 years ago. And that was one of the great wines of my life, no question about it. Just spectacular. And we have a few more of those in the cellar. One of the cool things about the Joseph Phelps Wine Club is that they had you get really good discounts. It's like 20% off. This $60 wine, I paid $48 American for, and they was 20% off the board. And then Insignia was even better. They gave you the discount on Insignia was insane. And then they also had a futures program where you could buy more of it at the 20% discount. I think it was 35% off. I have to check that. But you could buy more of it at the 20% off. So and you could buy it in a year in advance, and it would show up. So I have, I don't know, probably 6 to 10 bottles of Insignia in my cellar of various years. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Those wines do need some time, usually. Although, as I said, the 2016 that we had last year was just off the charts amazing. So that's it for today. I have got to go and drink these wines, and I have to go make some dinner because the wife would like to eat tonight. I know. It's a problem. I told you that before. So I hope you enjoyed this, and by all means, this is a great thing to try. You got a couple of wines from the same year, same region. They might have a different vineyard. Try them side by side. You'll notice an insane difference, almost for sure. All right. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Oh, and I will, once I've finished drinking these wines, I'll do a blog review of them, and I will post that link in the comments here. And those of you that, some of you will actually probably come to this video from that link. We'll figure it out. Anyway, they're both going to get good scores. They're delicious. So anyway, have a great day, and we will see you next time for more crazy wine stuff on Winer TV. Bye, everybody.